Good morning, team. Happy Thursday. It is January the 9th, the second Thursday of the year, and I'm super excited to be here with you all. I'm glad to see everybody's faces in the camera. We've got a lot to cover in what will seem to be a short period of time. So we're going to get straight into it. I'm going to bring us out on the field. I've got some sentiments for you, looking for some contributions, some feedback, some engagement on the first half. Dan's going to break down give you guys some updates in terms of the direction that we're going, what's going to be implemented in the next couple of weeks or so, where we are, and how we project to go forward. We're in the tunnel. I need you to flow with me. I need you to act like you want to be here. Here's what I mean by that. Cameras on. This is an elite group of high converters on a very hot top producing team, but it's only a small group of us. There's a line of folks who want to be in this flex program. There's a line of folks who love to be in this call. I need you to act like you want to be here. What that looks like is having your cameras on, be prepared to engage, contribute, and prepare. I mean, shit, we're all going through stuff, right? Myself personally, I'm going through some personal tough moments in my life right now as we speak, but it's not preventing me from being prepared. It's not preventing me from being present. It's not preventing me from being engaged. It's not preventing me from being dressed, shaved, and ready to go. No excuses in 2025. If you don't have the ability to put your camera on and you're not in an inspection, you're not in the hospital, it's not jeopardizing your safety and you don't want to be here, I'm going to ask you to just hit the end button, end call down in the lower right part of your screen, because I only want people in this space who actually want to be here. I'll wait. Dan, we got some people in the waiting room. Let's get them in quickly because we close the doors in 3 minutes. Dan, we got some people in the waiting room. Is your Bluetooth working? It may not be. Okay. He goes in and out.
Hey, Vernon, you can make me co-host so I can help you with that.
Yeah, because I think sometimes his Bluetooth goes in and out, Sam.
That's okay. I'm on the road though, but I'll definitely help from my
It's all
daughter's
good. I
school.
appreciate it. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
If your camera's on, thank you for responding. That means you want to be here. And I'm grateful for each one of you in this space because I want to be here no matter how I feel. Everybody ready to go? We present, we engaged, we ready to rock. Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get something in the, okay, let's get it. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to have that conversation right now. Now that everyone has shown that they want to be here, they're acting like they want to be here. Let's talk. Last year, you may have put a lot of energy into shit that failed you, shit that disappointed you, abandoned you, or maybe even broke you. We don't have to even go as far as last year. Some of those experiences may have segued into this year, where you put a lot of energy into shit that didn't work, shit that disappointed you, abandoned you, or broke you. We starting all over today, y'all. Like right now. We ain't fucking up in 2025. You're gonna have a list in 2025. It may be plans, goals, dreams, aspirations. Make sure you at the top of that motherfucker this year. Make sure that you put you at the top of your list this year. Let's go. Who on this call has big goals for 2025? Raise your hand, thumbs up. Put an emoji on the screen. Let's talk about it. Who on this call has big goals for 2025? Pat, Kyrell, Nicole, Tim, thank you. Ina, thank you. My question to the group, and the opening question that really creates some dialogue this morning is, what is your plan to accomplish those goals? See, goals are cool. Goals are these big, wide, broad, macro things that we really want to accomplish. But in order for us to accomplish those big, wide, broad, macro things, we've got to have incremental, minute plans that we are going to implement on a daily basis that'll help us achieve our goals. My question to you is, what is your plan to accomplish your goals for 2025? So anybody take their self off of mute. This is an open-ended conversation. I really want you to contribute and engage and share with us what your plan is for yourself in 2025. Let me go a little deeper. What are you going to do differently that you didn't do last year to make sure that you have the best year yet? Let's talk about it. Patrick, contribution, hand raised, looking fly, fresh sunglasses. Let's go. What are
Yes,
you
sir.
gonna
Yes, sir.
What are you going to do differently to make sure that you have the best year yet?
Yeah. No, I think it's very simple. We always talk about 1%. Of growth is still 1% of growth. For me, it's that. There's always something in my day that I'm analyzing. Every 6 p.m. is where I kind of wind down every day, and I look into what did I do? Was it functional? Was it efficient? So for this year, in order for me to achieve my goals and plans, is really dialed in on myself. Like you said, I need to focus on my own kind of craft. I think what I did last year that was wrong was focusing on other people's practices, other people, the way they kind of worked, and kind of try to emulate that, which is good for me because I was just starting. But now that I'm in this mode and I have this knowledge that I garnered, I realized that there is a lot of things throughout my day that I need to fix in order to achieve those goals, right? Like I need to be waking up earlier. I need to stop making these excuses. I need to, just bite the bullet and just keep on chucking. Because no one's gonna get me there besides me. You know what I mean? So
Oh
that's my
man,
plan.
man, that's powerful. Thank you for your contribution, Patrick. Tim, you're on deck. I'm going to call on you and feel free. Raise your hand. I see Michael saying put in the work, but I love to hear your contributions around this because it's extremely important, you guys. We're at the first week of the first year of the first month in the new year. Okay. We want to spend time focusing on our strategic approach, our plan, and implementing that plan that's going to contribute or ensure that we achieve our goals. Patrick, I love what you said, man. Essentially, what you said is you're going to make sure that your name is at the top of your priority list for you. Not so much looking at what everybody else is doing, gauging your effectiveness on their effectiveness, but you are committed to locking in and prioritizing you and your business as a part of your plan to accomplish your goals. I love it. Tim, you next. Rick, you on deck. Antu, you're in the hole. And Ina, you're batting cleanup. Let's keep the contributions going.
Hey,
Tim.
hey, I'm not sure if my mic works. If you guys
Mic
can hear
works
me.
fine. We hear you loud and clear, bro.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So yeah, I did business planning last week. Uh Funny because if you guys know Julie, she's my sister-in-law. All our family, we all started getting into, I guess, doing our own business in the last couple months. Adding in my sister Ginger. She started selling insurance just a couple months ago, and she made top producer for her team in a month, which is pretty insane. But yeah, so I'm seeing her success, and I'm super motivated as well. Just seeing, like it really doesn't matter where you're coming from, but um how much you bring to the table and how hard we work has a direct impact on everything that comes from it, even if you don't see it now. A couple of things that I kind of they had an exercise was to, you can work harder, but you got to work smarter and finding your ideal clients. I Last year I had two deals that fell through, and I guess like, I always think about like, what can I do that I could have saved it? And I feel like, oh, I could have saved everything or said something or did this, do that. Um, Ended up being a big time sink because they were not gonna be changed. Like the nothing I could have done like, would have changed anything. So what I think this year is recognizing like, all right, well, I hear this all the time from other people, and as a new agent, it's not something that you think of like immediately, but it's like, if they're not gonna be um what's the word? If they're not gonna be somebody that's wants to work with you in the first place, then why would you, spend all that energy on them? So I think, that's something I want to focus on this year is like, you can still work hard, but just finding that right avenue.
Yeah, man, I love that. I love that. I love the idea of being selective, right? I'm starting to get to the point in my career where I'm choosing who I want to work with, right? I've had those same experiences that you're expressing, Tim, where we're just hungry for the lead. We're hungry for the transaction. We're hungry to close, and we end up just accepting working with whomever with the objective of actually wanting to be able to close the transaction. But here's my question to you, Tim.
For sure.
How do you have to show up differently this year?
Hmm.
You have to show up differently this
Hmm.
in order to have the best year that you've ever had.
Yeah, absolutely. So, being able to be on the Zillow team is a huge blessing for me. I think generating leads as any agent is pretty difficult, and I think these days it's pretty hard to complete with most online sources. Um, I'm still planning to do my organic lead generation. Like I've been planning to go to a couple of events this year, um, and also just be more involved in. I feel like after I started real estate, I don't think I've actually been hanging out with like most of the people that um I used to, and I feel like that's actually a big source of referral based business that I could be getting, even if it's down the line. So that's something I want to do too.
I
And tech.
love that, man. I love that. And just to hear you as a young man with the recognition that you are who you surround yourself with is essentially what you're saying is powerful because birds of a feather do flock together, right? You want to be a top producer, you hang with top producers. You want to be a medical
Absolutely.
professional, you hang with medical professionals to learn the language, learn the lingo, understand the mentality, the thought process, and what is required in order to be a top producer. So I love that, man. I'm rooting for you, Tim. It's a pleasure to have you in this space. Your young energy, your creative ideas, your grind, your passion, your ambition is tough. Your drive is thorough. So hey, kudos to you, man. Rick, you're up to bat, brother. Antu, you're next. Ina, Aaron, and then Nicole, and then we're gonna wrap this piece open sentiment up after Nicole and segue right into the next component of our session. Rick, what are you going to do differently to have the best year yet?
Yeah, still figuring it out, but I have a small step, incrementally. I started journaling. I've never done it, so this is helping me like hold myself accountable,
Yeah.
right? Um, so I'll write down what I want to accomplish for the day, the previous night before. Make sure I hit the marks. So essentially, I'm tracking my data, right, like written down for myself. Um, and then later that night, the following day, then I'll reflect on, did I hit the marks? Did I hit these goals? What am I going to do next? So for me, sometimes I get lost in, I try to look at the whole further too far down the line, for the big picture, and it kind of overwhelms me. So this little thing that I'm doing now, implementing this journaling, I feel it's helping me just kind of reflect. Am I hitting my goals at least for the day, right? And I feel like it's going to trickle down, and I already feel like it is, uh, not only personally, professionally, but in every sense. So I think for me, this is allowing me to hold myself accountable and have um, evidence. Say, hey, look, I didn't do this shit the other day. What do I have to do? I need to slow it down. Slow down whatever it is I'm doing, and then make sure that I'm intentionally hitting these marks. So
Bro, I'm proud of you for that. Hey, kudos to you, man, because we've all heard the saying, the best way to eat an enormous elephant is how? One bite at a time. Okay. The way that you're going to get from square zero to square 1,000 is just by taking one step and putting one foot in front of the other consistently. So the fact that you are evaluating your daily progress and breaking that down in a sense to where you're calculating your steps within that day, that's where you create the momentum, guys. That's how we get this overpowering momentum, is simply by putting one step in front of the other. So, Rick, keep journaling, my brother. Get your thoughts out, your feelings, your emotions, your plans, your goals. And then, as opposed to trying to bite it off, bite it all in one big chomp, bro, one step at a time. And just continue to put one foot in front of the other, and you will get to where you're going. Thank you for your contribution. And two, please check yourself off of mute. Question that we're talking about this morning is, what are you going to do differently to ensure that you have the best year yet?
For this year, I'm really gonna hit the phone more. I know that I do open houses every weekend, and I do the follow-up. And what I love about our platform, that it tracks if people read my email or not. And so I use that a lot and I fall back on that. But I also realize that I'm not calling enough. And I need to call to have like this more in-person conversation with them. And I feel that it's probably a little bit more human connection. So that's probably what I need to add. I think this is what I need to add into my daily work. And I'm going to add that this year. And I want to see and keep track of it to see what is the outcome for the phone calls, or is it just as the same as my emailing them, the same effect? So I'm testing that out this year.
That's powerful. So what I heard you say, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard you say that you're going to focus on your prospecting strategies to see what methods trigger different responses than what you have been getting up to this point. Am I hearing you? Is that what I heard you say?
Correct. Yeah.
One step at a time.
Yeah, just adding more things to compare what's working and what's not, and which person likes a phone call or, an email. They're all different. So I'm adding phone calls just to see what my people like.
Oh, that's powerful. Hey, one step at a time. See how that works. Evaluate what that looks like. Assess that approach. Gauge your response to that, and continue to modify and evaluate what you plan to do differently so that you can get the result that you want. Thank you for that contribution. Ina, what up, though?
Hello, good morning.
25. Good morning. Ina, what are you going to do differently, and how are you going to show up differently to ensure that you have the best year yet?
Okay, so I don't know how this experiment's going to work for me, but I typically say yes to everything. I believe there's an opportunity in everything, but that also causes me to drive ridiculous distances, take listings I know aren't going to sell, sit on hour-long webinars for a sales pitch for a product I know I'm not going to buy. And I do feel like me saying yes to everything has given me success, but I think this year I want to just flip it on its head and say no to things and say no to more things, and to protect my calendar and get super intentional with my time. Say no to listings that I know are just going to be problems, that I know are going to cause me to shut down. I tend to get myself really overworked. I get really emotionally involved in some transactions that then will deplete my energy to help other families. I have a friend of mine who this year had the best year ever, and it wasn't worth it for her mental health and ended up just bouncing. So I don't want that to happen. And I think that this year I'm going to get further by going slower. So that's going to be my plan.
Hey, that's powerful. Ina, you brought me back to my opening sentiment, and I'm gonna repeat it again for those who weren't listening or those who were in the back, had their volume turned down. This is what Ina just said. Last year, She put a lot of energy into shit that didn't work. Last year, she put a lot of energy into shit that potentially broke her. Ina,
Yes, sir.
we're starting over
That's right.
right now.
Amen.
You're going to have a list, Ina. Make sure you at the top of that motherfucker.
I will be.
Put you at the top of that motherfucker, and don't let nobody else create a list for you where you ain't at the top of that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go,
Yep.
Ina.
I like it.
Thank you for your contribution. Aaron, my guy. Bruh, is that a beanie? It's hella sunny outside. You
I'm on the
cold?
peninsula. I'm on the peninsula today, and I get a little chilly. What can I say?
Hey man, ball heads, we need to cover. I ain't mad.
Right. This year, I'm approaching everything with intent and positive energy, making sure that I protect my energy, be positive in all aspects. I don't got to do anything. I get to do everything, right? So it's a matter of embracing everything that comes with this, and being open to receive with pure positivity. And then as far as the practical things, using Sisu to track my stuff and be more intentional about that. The long-term goals are great, but like it's been mentioned, setting quarterly goals to get to that long-term goal is something I'm gonna be thinking more of. And then just really being focused on I don't got to do anything. I get to do stuff. I don't got to do anything. And so just embracing positivity in all forms. And even when a little self-doubt creeps in your head, or a little maybe envy because somebody's doing something you're not doing, squash that quick, fast, in a hurry. All positive energy, and being open to receive all that positive energy that comes back to me.
I love that, man. I love that. So in that, my brother, I'm sending light, love, positive energy your way as we have this conversation. I want to encourage you, bro. Quarterly goals are cool. Monthly goals, those are cool. But let's break that down into a daily goal, right? Because if we accomplish every goal that we set for ourselves in the day, it's going to contribute to our month of accomplishment, which will contribute to our quarter of accomplishment, our year of accomplishment. Let's get really specific and granular, team, with our focus. We eat an elephant one bite at a time. We jog a mile by putting one foot in front of the next. Let's focus on each step in our journey and ensuring that each of those steps is as firm and as sturdy as it possibly can. I don't give a shit if our knees are wobbling. I don't give a shit if we're tired. I don't care if we don't want to do it. I don't care if you're dealing with emotions, or you're dealing with challenges, you're dealing with whatever energies we absorb and encounter on our daily basis. If you just continue to focus on putting one foot in front of the next, you will get to that weekly goal, monthly goal, quarterly goal, and ultimately annual goal. Aaron, I appreciate that from you, brother. We talk all the time offline, and so I've watched your journey up to this point, bro. I'm proud of you. Continue to do what you're doing. This is just the beginning for you, my dude. You're just scratching the surface. So thank you for all of your contributions around that question. I really wanted to open up with that question because we need to be intentional about how we're going to show up different. I made a post the other day. I'm going to say a piece of that post today. A new year without new habits is a new year of the same shit. What that means is if you bring in the same habits that didn't serve you from last year coming into this year, you're going to have the same year that you did last year. It'll just say 2025 instead of 2024. And Aaron, what I'm hearing you say is that you're bringing in new habits. What I'm hearing a lot of you say in this call is how you're showing up differently is by enforcing and implementing new habits that are going to give you a new result in a new year, unless you'll have the same fucking experience that you did last year. And you know who has the power to change that? You. You know who has the power to keep it the same way? You. I want to take you guys back to something. I'm going to take you back to day one. For some of you seasoned agents, day one, when you first became a real estate agent. For some of us who are new in the game, day one, when we decided that we wanted to get into real estate. I know for me, day one, when I decided to go into real estate, I was all study, grind, day in, day out, because I'm hell bent. I'm the type of person that I strive for extreme excellence. And if I'm going to take an exam, I'm only going to take it once. I ain't doing this multiple test runs. I'm not saying that's for everyone else. I'm just speaking for me individually. But I also remember when I got a chance to get on the Zillow team. And back at that time, the leads were on rotation. It wasn't at this brokerage, it was at another brokerage, and was blessed to be able to receive some Zillow leads. Man, I couldn't wait for my phone to ring. When on those circuits, on a rotation, the first person to get to the call wins the lead. Anybody remember that system? Anybody familiar with that system? Okay. A system of rotation. Man, I'm trying to beat everybody to the lead. I couldn't wait to. I almost told myself that the Zillow call had a special ringtone to it that I would tune my ears to, because I was hungry for those leads. I needed it. I was ambitious about it. Couldn't wait to set the appointment. Couldn't wait to. My answer rate was 1,000%. I want to take you back to that day. Your day one mentality. Go back to day one. Each one of you has a separate journey that has led you to this point, but all of us had a day one. You remember what that energy was? You remember what your excitement level was? What was your commitment and your dedication to you and to being successful in this business? You guys remember that? Yes? No? Maybe so? Engagement is appreciated.
Yes.
Remember that. Here's a nugget for you. If you don't take anything else from this call, take this. The day one mentality is every day. Bring your that day one mentality, that hunger, that grit, that grind, that determination, that ambition. Have that day one mentality, day one mode. Every day is day one. If we approach every day as if it's day one, our answer rate is 1,000%. If we approach every day like we did the first day that we were able to get online leads, our appointment set rate is 100%. If we approach this from the day one mode mentality, our appointment set rate is phenomenal. You know what that results in? Conversion. What does conversion equate to? Lifestyle. For you, your family, your children, your life, your parents. I challenge you to stay in day one mode every day. Couldn't wait to set an appointment. Couldn't wait to go on a listing appointment. Couldn't wait to do that show. We printing buyers tours. We sending all the information. Communication was top tier. Notations in our CRM was on point. Everything was synonymous. That day one grind, that day one mode. Well, I got a secret for you. Every day is day one. And if we approach each day as if it's the first day, I guarantee you when we get to the year in review at the end of the year, you're going to be blown away at your success. Dan, I'm going to pass the mic over to you, my brother. Dan's got some updates for us. We set the tone for you all last year in terms of some shifts that we're making within the Flex program. And let me say this first. You guys crushed it. And we didn't perform in our optimal capacity consistently throughout the last 12 months. But we got some momentum going right now. and you're crushing it. So I want to give you some kudos and congratulations. Don't want it to always seem like I'm on your helmet or on your line or chastising you or challenging you. I also want to love on you and praise you guys for the work that you've been doing. But then I'm also here to tell you, as your coach, we can do more. Dan, you got the microphone, brother.
Vernon, you're always a tough act to follow, but I appreciate getting the room all pumped up and everything and setting the energy level, because I'm really excited about everything that you just said here and got my brain thinking quite a lot. So a couple updates to share with everyone. First, like Vernon said, we've made some really good progress with our overall team stats for where we're at, right? Some big metrics that we've been hitting. Back maybe 2 months ago, we shared that table of all of our Zillow stats and everything. We've still got a lot of red on the board. In fact, I'm just going to share my screen, show everyone here. But we've made some really big progress on some of these numbers to get it to where we need to be. So if you check this out, we've got a lot of green around here, around our ALM rate, around our answer rate. Our answer rate for January is already at 67% as a team. So we've picked that up big time in terms of picking up the phone, in terms of hitting that ALM framework, asking for the appointment. Back when we first started looking at these numbers as a team, our appointment rate was around like 30 or 40%. For the last 2 months, we're above 60% now. We've still got room to grow, right? We really want to be at that 80% mark, and that'll get these boxes from red to green. But these numbers have almost doubled since we first started looking at them. Our MET rate for November, which again, these numbers kind of lag. It doesn't immediately everything spring up to right where it needs to be, but we're meeting 40% of the appointments. We're running repeat appointments with almost a quarter of them, which is really close to where we want to be. So we're making really good progress. And also, your clients are liking you guys because we're seeing our CSAT score, that's the customer satisfaction score, actually took a bump up for the first time in January. If you remember, Zillow sends a customer satisfaction survey 3 times after you are connected with a client. They send it 48 hours, they send it 15 days, and they send it 45 days. So they're surveying your customers and saying, do you like this realtor? Do you want to keep working with them? So we're seeing that number also pick up as well. So what you guys are doing is working. We're going to keep pushing on this because we want to get these from red. I still don't like all this red here, but we want to get this from red to yellow to green in these coming months because that's going to help us really good. But we're seeing really good progress here. Okay, so like Vernon said, we're going to be implementing a pretty big change for how this program is structured in terms of shifts. We did a sneak peek of this a couple of weeks ago before the holidays, but starting next Friday, we're going to move from the current system that we have where it's basically you're on all the time, you use the pause please channel to request time off. We're going to be moving from that to a shift scheduling system. And so the way that that's going to work, it's going to be very simple. You're on 1 week, you're off 1 week. On 1 week, off 1 week. On 1 week, off 1 week. That's it. There's going to be 2 teams, red team and the black team. We'll get a little bit of friendly competition going on here. We've been working on getting the teams divided up and everything based on geography, based on performance, so that it's evenly divided as much as possible. It's not going to matter which team you're on in terms of like one getting more favorable shifts or leads or anything like that. So we are going to launch this next Friday. So starting next Friday, one of the teams is going to start and the other team is going to be off for a full week. The idea of this is that when you're on, right? It's going to be your time to receive leads, to have your phone ring. There's going to be fewer agents on average than there are right now. So you probably will get a bit more phone calls. And then at the end of that time period, you'll be off for a week. That's your opportunity to work the leads that you have, make sure your follow-up boss is totally up to date, make sure you're doing all those follow-ups and not have it feel like you're constantly drinking from a fire hose every single week, week after week. Ian, seller leads will be on or off too. Seller leads will be handled totally different. So that's going to be the same system as it was. This isn't going to be touching any of the seller lead stuff. But what is kind of going to be sort of related to the seller leads, but an important thing too is that the pause please channel is going to be completely eliminated, right? So that's going to be gone. So if you are on shift for a week, you're on. If you need to take a few days off during that, if you need to take some time off, right? So if you are renting an appointment, or if you're spending time with family, or if you want to take a Saturday to live life, whatever, you will still be able to use the Zillow self-pause feature, right? So if you're pausing for less than 24 hours, popping out to go on a grocery run, or you just need some time to yourself, whatever, you can still use the self-pause feature. But what we're not going to be doing anymore is, hey, I'm going to be paused for the next 2 days. I'm going to be on for this day. I need to take some time off. If it's your shift, plan to be on. If you need to take 2 or 3 days off during your shift, you'll just skip that shift and you'll be on for your following one. So then you'll have 2 weeks of leads off. So I got a few more things to go through, but I think that's a kind of important point there. What questions? Does anyone have any questions? You want to take yourself off mute or throw it in the chat on how that part of the shift scheduling is going to work?
Yeah, no, take yourselves off of mute. If you have a question, take yourself off of mute. And
Lisette, yes, what do you got?
Hi, Dan. So basically, if we're like this Saturday, I'm pretty much book showing clients. I could just use the regular pause through the Zillow app itself and then turn myself back on once I'm done if I was on call.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. If you were, so that's a good example. So if you're showing clients, but you're showing from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and you're like, all right, I'm just going to block these couple of hours off. But in the morning you could take calls, and in the evening you could take calls. That's perfect use of that, right? Block, pause yourself 6 hours, 7 hours, whatever. If you were, say, going to be out of town Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're going on vacation that weekend, you got a long plan one. In that case, then you would just let Hillary and myself and Vernon know, and then you would be off for the entire week shift. Yeah, good question. What else?
anyone else have any questions?
I have a quick
Okay.
one.
Go ahead, David.
Is this like a full implement? Is there like a trial period? If this works, continue it. If it doesn't work, switch it back.
Negative.
It's like
Nope.
this
Negative.
Full steam ahead.
Negative. Full steam ahead.
Many of you, or a few of you, a small handful of you might remember that we actually used to be on this system back in 2022. So when we first implemented the Flex team, and when the team size was this large, we had a shift that was exactly run like this, an A shift and a B shift. And in fact, for other Zillow teams nationally, we're one of the few teams that does it the way that we do. Most teams have shift systems like this, and they actually work out really well because it gives people time to breathe, and you kind of get that consistency of knowing, like, all right, this is the week I'm getting leads. You can build your schedule around that, and this is the week I'm not getting leads. You can build your schedule around that.
Yeah, let me interject really quick. So here's some game for you guys. Next Friday, the team system, the shift system, is in full implementation. We have a red team and a black team, evenly distributed, equal number of agents on each team. We have divided our top converters, our mid converters, and our lower rung, and we've interchanged all of those and created these evenly distributed teams. Okay. This is going into implementation on Friday. There is no trial run. This is what it is moving forward. However, what that means now is this is an opportunity for you to absorb as many leads as you possibly can before Friday. That's number one. Number two, the reason that I say that is because if black team is on starting next Friday and the red team is off, red team, you should be using that off week to work your pipeline, setting appointments, meeting appointments, showing properties, and so forth. When the red team is on and the black team is off, black team, those leads that you've accumulated over that week that you were on, now you're off, work your pipeline, set the appointments, meet the appointments, show the properties, okay? Vice versa. Where we stand right now today is the system has not been implemented. So if you at all possible want to fill your pipeline to have leads that you can work during your off week, because one team will be off starting next Friday, I would advise you to have your lead routing turned on now.
Yeah, and Kyrell, I saw your message in the chat too. That's exactly it, right? It should increase the closing ratio because you'll have time and bandwidth to really go deep with fewer clients and have the opportunity and the time set aside to really focus on all these people you ran appointments with, you're not going to get new flex leads. You're really just going to work on converting those folks. Carla, what do you got? I see your hand up.
Not only is it going to impact our closing and conversion rates, it's also going to it should increase our coverage, right?
Mm.
Okay, because if you're on, you're on. Now we understand weekend, Sunday, some folks go to church, Saturday, family time. You leverage the self-pause feature for those functions, right? We don't expect you to be on 7 straight days. That's ridiculous. That's a violation of the labor laws, right? In the state of California, we're not doing that. This is not slavery. So, leverage the pause, please. I'm sorry, that's over. The self-pause feature, but we expect you to be on. And if you're pausing yourself when your team is on, you're lessening the amount of leads that you will have access to, because you're on for a week and then you're off for a week. Didn't mean to interrupt you, Carla. Carla, what's your contribution?
Hi, guys. So my question, just to double check. So next Friday, we're gonna be in teams 1 week, yes, 1 week on, 1 week off. But it's the pausing feature is gonna be eliminated, or is it gonna be still there available for us?
So the self-pause through the Zillow app, which is pauses for less than 24 hours, that will still be enabled.
It's gonna be active. So
that'll still be active.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm asking this because the other day I got 3 missed calls at 6 in the morning. So I don't wake up at 6. I mean, I wish I can, but
send me the call log for that, because Zillow they've been having issues with this. They're not supposed to send us calls that early. If you'd send me a message on Slack, because that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, and I don't want this to affect my ratio, my rate of answering, because I am answering, but if they're gonna call me at 6 in the morning, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be sleeping.
That's not supposed to. So there's a couple things we can check on for that. The calls are not supposed to come through until 8 a.m. And so Katie, I see you said, and Tim, if all 3 of you would message me on Slack, I'll submit we can work on getting that fixed with Zillow.
Yeah, and that applies to everyone.
Thank you.
That applies to everyone. 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, don't answer the damn call. Okay? I don't care. Don't answer it. 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, don't answer it. Because we shouldn't be getting leads that early, and we shouldn't be receiving leads that late.
Well, 8 o'clock, the Zillow starts, I think their timer starts 8 a.m. is when.
What I'm saying is anything before 8 a.m. or after 8 p.m., do not answer the call. That's what I'm saying. And so if we have a problem with that, when we have the conversation with Max, our Zillow rep, I will definitely let him know where we stand as a team as it relates to receiving calls before 8 a.m. and after 8 p.m.
Bro.
Everybody on the same page?
Hell yeah.
Please reach out to Dan via Slack. If you have that experience, we will not be held accountable for that. I know I've received calls hella early. I know Lisette has received calls hella early, hella late. We're not doing that.
Ooh.
We will put that responsibility on them to fix their technical issues as to why calls are being routed that early or that late. Everybody on the same page. Don't worry about your answer rate being impacted. Don't worry about your pickup rate being impacted. As long as we have logged documentation and a trail that call before 8 a.m. Cortez, put yourself on mute for me, bro. Or after 8 p.m., that'd be great. Aaron, what you got, brother? What's your contribution as we start to wind it in? Because I know Dan's got a few more updates for us.
With the new team thing, in the event that we're partnering, should we be looking for somebody specifically on our team, or how should we approach that if we approach it any different way?
I would say probably don't approach it differently.
No, stay with that process stays the same. Who you partner with and how you do it, that stays the same. Also, what also stays the same, you all, are the performance measures. Even though you're on and off for a week, the answer rate expectation standard is still the standard. The appointment met standards are still the standards. The protocols that we've set for agent performance and lead routing does not change, although we're changing the team structure, the systems. to the scheduling. Does that make sense? Everybody, does that make sense? I don't want anyone to say I didn't know.
Yeah, so to Vernon's point, if you are on pause, if you're paused to receive leads for performance related reasons, and it is your shift, you'll still be paused for that shift. So all of the performance expectations, performance metrics, all that stuff stays exactly the same, right? In terms of conversion expectations, in terms of closing expectations, all of that stuff is still going to determine access to leads, whether you're going to be able to get leads for your scheduled shift. So a couple other items. We'll get you guys the schedule for the month at the beginning of the month, and we should be sending this out like early next week, so everyone will know if they're going to be on this Friday or off starting this Friday. And the 17th. So this isn't tomorrow. This is the 17th. We've got a full week on this, so we're going to give this to you guys this week. Next Thursday, we're gonna simmer on it, make sure there's any FAQs that are sitting out. I'm also gonna post something in the Slack channel that's gonna have an FAQ for all of these questions here. We're gonna be communicating the schedules through the Slack channel, so make sure you're checking that. We're also going to be creating, so getting rid of the Pause Please channel, but then creating a red team and a black team Slack channel as well, so that if your team is on, we'll be routing leads related communications directly through the channel for whoever's active, and also letting everyone know in Slack when that team is activated. So we're not going to be sending you a message every single week saying, hey, you're on, time for leads. Expectation is going to be, you get the schedule at the beginning of the month, you set that up in your calendar, you manage your own calendar, and we'll then be posting in the Slack channel. So make sure you're checking Slack for when it's time to, you'll be on for receiving leads or when you'll be off for receiving leads. And that's it. That's the big logistical things that I've got. Again, next Friday, 17th is going to go live. If you've got questions on this, shoot them over to me, shoot them over to Vernon. That'll help you put together the FAQ that we'll share in the Slack channel. I think this is going to be really helpful for the program, but it's also going to be really helpful for everyone individually too, because it's going to be a lot less frantic in terms of getting leads. It'll be much more predictable for everyone too. So that's all I got.
Love it, Dan. Love it, Dan. Thank you. Do you guys have any questions for us around switching the scheduling shift, the switching of the schedules, the Slack channels associated with that? Just want to be clear. We're not going to hold your hand and follow up with you to inform you of when your schedule is. That's why we've designed the system the way that we have. There's going to be a black team Slack channel, a red team Slack channel. Your schedules will be posted prior to the end of the month. Our back-end support team will be handling the on and the off switches of the various teams. We're categorizing those teams now. We have a kind of a rough draft of who's going to be on what team, making sure that we've got coverage all throughout our markets. And then we've got a combination of producers and so forth on each team. Please don't reach out to us asking us when your shift is. It's not our responsibility to make sure that you are aware of when your shift is. Everybody on the same page? We cool? I'm looking forward to this. This is gonna be dope. You know, I have a high expectation of us in terms of conversion percentage as a team, not as Vernon as an individual, but us as a flex team. And that conversion percentage goal is 5%. Very doable. This is going to help us in terms of coverage, in terms of time to work our pipeline, in terms of ensuring that we're setting appointments sufficiently, we're meeting that appointment, and we got time to meet the appointment to be able to write more offers and show homes and increase our conversion percentage. I'm super juiced for this change. Dan, thank you for all your hard work on the back end, bro. I'm super excited. If you don't have any other questions, we are right at about 4 minutes before our session is over, and we might end the call a few ticks early. Here's my closing sentiment. Whatever your plan is to accomplish your goals, a schedule is required for that. Whether it's waking up 5 a.m. is a non-negotiable for me. In the gym by 6:15, non-negotiable every day. Reading an hour, non-negotiable every day. Speaking of, can you see that? If you don't have this book, cop it. If you need to borrow $20, call Lisette. If you need to borrow 50, hit Dan. If you need to borrow 100, Mama San been killing it, tapping her pockets. But whatever you have to do, get this book. Limitless by John Quick. Let me give you a little plug. If you're in Intensity, which starts tomorrow, that's a required read, so you might as well go on and cop it now. This book is going to change your life, and it's going to wake your game up and really lead you down the discovery of how powerful your brain is within you. Keep the schedule that needs to be kept. You know what your goals are for yourself. You know what plans you have for you. Now create a schedule that aligns with the plans that you have for you. And don't forget that when you make that list, you make sure that your name is at the top of that motherfucker. Until then, till next Thursday, I'm sending you grace, peace, and blessings. We'll see you next time.